What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, man. I hope you guys are having a great week. Today we are talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback room and the crazy offseason this team has had, and historically overall something we've really never seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers. It all started with Russell Wilson signing a veteran minimum deal this offseason after being let loose from the Denver Broncos. That Steelers fans pretty excited. There were a lot of talks of Kenny Pickett being able to learn from someone in similar stature, similar size, someone who has won a Super Bowl and could possibly teach the younger guy some knowledge that he was clearly lacking. There was hopes that maybe in a year or two after setting under Russell Wilson, he could come back in and instead of just shining in the fourth quarter, shine through the whole game and be a bit more consistent. But unfortunately for Steelers fans, that is not how it went down. We then get this news, Adam Schefter on March 15th. Which is the same day on a technicality that the Steelers signed Russell Wilson. With this news, there was a little bit of a shock around the league and the people who keep up with it because the Steelers typically never really give up on a first-round pick this early. That's not exactly why we're here. After the trade of Kenny Pickett and signing Russell Wilson, we then get the news that the Steelers are not done adding to their new style quarterback room. They go and add quarterback Justin Fields just one day later on March 16th. Now that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. In an eventful 2 days for the Steelers front office, they had managed to take one of the lower tier quarterback rooms in the league and turn it into one that has a lot of potential, but also a lot of question marks moving forward. A couple of things that stick out to me for the plan for this quarterback room. One, we saw 2 years of Russell Wilson, the first one being with Nathaniel Hackett, and it was not good, dare I say, terrible. The second year with Sean Payton, we saw a lot of more improvement. We saw a bit of a different scheme, and overall a lot better year for Russell Wilson until ultimately being cut in the offseason. The second thing is with the trade for Justin Fields, it automatically puts a clock on Russell Wilson and how long his time in Pittsburgh is going to last. It also lets us know that Russell Wilson's job as the quote-unquote starter might not be solidified as we think, and neither does Justin Fields. Here are some recent comments he talked about in a recent press conference.
Do you look at it as a chance to start? Do you look at it as a home, 1 year? How do you view it?
Yeah, I think it's both. And to be honest, I'm taking it day by day. I'm definitely, competing. I think, Russ knows that. We're competing against each other every day. Him being out there for me, that, helps me getting better. Us pushing each other. So, I definitely don't have the mindset of, me just, sitting all year.
So ultimately why we're here today is what do I think is going to happen with the quarterback room and the starter of the Pittsburgh Steelers. As we all know, if you don't know, make sure to follow my TikTok. We talked about this on there a lot. The Pittsburgh Steelers schedule is no joke, specifically the later half starting in week 10. They don't have an in-division game until week 10 where they play the Baltimore Ravens, followed by the Browns, the Bengals, the Browns again, then an out-of-conference matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles, back in division to play the Ravens once again, then a Christmas game against the Chiefs, then they finish off with the Bengals once again. That is an absolute gauntlet for any team. Now, you may ask why importance of schedule is important in this topic. When you look at the injury history of Russell Wilson, now he's not been the most banged up quarterback we've ever seen, but take his last 2 years in Denver. The ending of his first season was fairly rough with a pretty concerning looking concussion. Then following that up with a nagging knee injury that ultimately didn't let him play his best style of football. As we all know, Russell Wilson is more of a mobile quarterback. So with a knee injury like that wasn't a full-on you can't play, but didn't let him feel his most comfortable, is something that we would have to look at in the future, especially with something I think we can all agree, as the AFC North is probably the most tough and just rugged division in the NFL. Someone who is a bit older than Russell Wilson having that tough of a schedule after week 10, after your bye, it's going to be a pretty tough go at this. Ultimately, we never know until we know what happens. But here's my prediction. I think this weighs pretty heavily on who comes out of the camp this fall as the starter. Russell Wilson seems to have that nod already, as Coach Mike Tomlin has come out and said that he will be the projected starter and get the first team reps in OTAs. But as we saw earlier in a clip that we put in of Justin Fields, he does not plan on backing down from trying to be that starter from day one. Let's go with the hypothetical that Russell Wilson does have the starting position coming into week 1. We then have to worry about whether or not he's going to be year 1 Denver, Russell Wilson, or year 2 Denver, Russell Wilson. If you get year 1, it's going to be pretty soon where you see Justin Fields take over that starting role. If you see year 2, it's going to take a little bit longer, and it might not happen at all if he doesn't get injured. Now, obviously, I want to preface all of this saying we never want anyone to get injured. That's not what this video is about. But unfortunately, in the conference of the AFC North, it is, I don't want to say it's bound to happen, with a quarterback who is a bit older and who has dealt with some injuries that have hindered him from being able to play his specific quarterback style, getting out of the pocket, playing a little bit more mobile. I can't see it not happening. Even if it was just a minor injury keeping him out for a few games, I think we're going to see Justin Fields in the near future for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, we never know until we know, but my prediction is that Russell Wilson will get the starting job out of camp. And whether or not it's an injury or just lack of good play, I do think Justin Fields ultimately wins out the starting job from Russell Wilson. I think for at least half the season, we see Justin Fields taking the snaps as the starter for the quarterback position of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Love Russ, and I think he's a good guy. I just think, unfortunately for him, some injuries and a little bit of older age is going to catch up with him. I'm also a big fan of Justin Fields. I think he did as best as he could with the players that he was given in Chicago. I think ultimately as well, they didn't give him the best run fit, the best offensive scheme in general. In Chicago, they wanted him to throw a lot more. He does have the ability to throw the ball. I think he has a pretty good arm, but he's obviously known for his athleticism and his running. And somewhere like Pittsburgh, where they're going to rely heavily on a run game with new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith and just the way they play in that division, I think that suits him a lot better than it would a older Russell Wilson. Now, if we were talking about younger Russell Wilson, I do think there would be no chance. I think Justin Fields would be the backup for sure, bar none. But we're not. We're talking about an older Russell Wilson, and I think the Steelers know that as well. That's why they didn't give him a bigger contract than just a veteran minimum. And I think ultimately Justin Fields becomes the long-term starter for Pittsburgh. I'm that high on how good Justin Fields can be. Let me know where I'm wrong, where I'm right. I'm definitely interested to hear all Pittsburgh Steelers fans, their thoughts, their concerns of their whole situation. If you want to know anything more about any other quarterback room, I would love to do research on it. Any other thing in the NFL or the NBA. I've noticed the NFL videos are doing a little bit better, so if that's what I have to do and that's what you guys want, it can be a full NFL channel. Let me know down in the comment section. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it today. Hit up all my social media in the description, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.